All right, welcome. Today we're leaving the familiar world behind and plunging straight into the deepest, darkest, and most mysterious part of our planet. We're talking about a place of legends, monsters, and scientific wonders that, honestly, we're only just beginning to understand. So to kick things off, let's start with a single number that puts everything into perspective.
71%. Just let that number sit there for a second. It's such a huge figure, it's kind of hard to even wrap your head around what it really represents.
Because that's how much of our world is covered by ocean. And here's the really shocking part. We have better, more detailed maps of the moon and Mars than we do of our own planet's seabed. This huge, dark majority of our world is almost a complete blank spot on the map. So you have to ask, right? What secrets is it hiding? To really get a handle on this, let's just talk about the sheer scale of what we're dealing with. We always hear that space is the final frontier, but maybe, just maybe, the greatest frontier for exploration is right here. It is a staggering thought, isn't it? It's this wild irony that humanity has spent so long gazing up at the stars, while a world absolutely teeming with life and incredible wonders right beneath the waves is still, for the most part, a total mystery. So, let's begin our descent. And we're going to start in a place that has haunted our imagination for generations. A notorious stretch of water right near the surface where it seems like the normal rules of the world just don't apply. Oh yeah, you know the stories. This mysterious patch of the Atlantic where compasses supposedly spin like crazy, instruments fail, and entire vessels just disappear off the face of the earth. It's the stuff of legend, for sure, but could there actually be a scientific reason for it all? Well, check this out, because this is one of the leading scientific theories. Imagine the ocean floor suddenly lets out this enormous eruption of methane gas. This gas would instantly make the water incredibly frothy and way less dense. So a ship floating right above it would, in theory, lose all its buoyancy and just drop like a rock into the abyss, vanished, without a trace. Okay, we are leaving the legends of the surface behind now. Let's go much, much deeper, way past the point where any sunlight can reach, down into the most remote and hostile environment on our entire planet. And this right here brilliantly shows you the kind of scale we're talking about. Look at that comparison. If you could somehow take Mount Everest, the tallest point on Earth, and place it in the deepest part of the ocean, Challenger Deep, its peak would still be more than a mile underwater. That is absolutely mind-boggling. You'd think nothing could possibly survive down here. The pressure would crush a submarine like a soda can. But you'd be wrong. This is the realm of bizarre, alien-like creatures that have adapted to live in total darkness. Think of the anglerfish, with its own built-in, glowing fishing lure that it uses to hunt in the absolute pitch black. Down in this eternal night, sight doesn't do you much good. It's all about sound. And it's here, when you listen to the echoes from the abyss, that you find some of the ocean's most haunting mysteries, from creatures of legend to sounds we still struggle to explain. Now that stunning detail is not from a fantasy novel. It's a real-world description of the colossal squid. It is not a myth. It is a living, breathing creature with the largest eyes of any animal we know of, perfectly evolved to catch the faintest little glimmers of light in that oppressive darkness. Okay, let's move from creatures we know exist to a sound that for years defied any and all explanation. It all starts back in 1997, when these underwater microphones, hydrophones, that the US government was using to listen for enemy submarines picked up something else entirely. They called it the bloop. It was this incredibly powerful, ultra-low frequency sound, and it wasn't a mistake. It was recorded by multiple sensors spread out over thousands of miles of the Pacific. And here's the thing. The sound had the acoustic signature of a living creature, but it was immense, way louder than a blue whale. So for decades, people's imaginations ran wild. What on earth could be big enough to make that noise? Well, years later, scientists finally figured it was most likely an ice quake, a massive iceberg cracking apart from a glacier. A natural sound, but one so powerful it sounded biological. So, from documented sounds, we move on to legendary places, and there is no ocean legend more famous or more enduring than the story of Atlantis, Plato's tale of a brilliant civilization that vanished beneath the waves in an instant. And this is just a fantastic example of how some myths might actually have a tiny grain of truth to them. Now, while no one's found a sunken city of gold, some historians and geologists think the story of Atlantis could be a kind of cultural memory, a story passed down about a real catastrophic event, like the massive volcanic eruption that destroyed the Minoan civilization on Crete, which would have triggered devastating tsunamis. As we start to ascend back toward the light, it's pretty clear that for every mystery we've uncovered, there are probably thousands more still waiting. So, what does the future of ocean discovery even hold for us?
Well, scientists estimate there could be hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions, of undiscovered species waiting in the deep. And some even speculate that if we're really searching for alien life, maybe the bizarre, extreme environments around our own ocean's hydrothermal vents might be the best place to start looking.
Ultimately, with every new submersible, every new robotic drone, every new camera we send down into the abyss, we are right on the verge of the next great discovery. The question really isn't if we'll find something extraordinary, but when. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What do you think is the biggest secret the ocean is still hiding from us?